It's 6 months to the presidential election, and unfolding events indicates that the poll will be one of the most competitive yet. Hello and welcome to Political Standpoint. I am Precious Amayo. Now, the 2023 presidential election is a very critical one for Nigerians, faced with insecurity, economic downturn that has seen a drastic reduction in their purchasing power, to a collapsing health system and a struggling education sector. Nigerians are desperately seeking to elect a president who will solve these problems. Now, more than 15 personalities are contesting for the presidency, and the candidate of the Accord Party, Professor Christopher Imumolen, joins me now. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show.
Let me start by asking you, because we've seen a lot of young people, or some young persons, indicate interest in running for the presidency. Some went ahead to clinch their party ticket like you did. Some did not. And there is a general sense that, young people do this because they want to be visible, just in case there is any opening for appointment. They are visible enough to clinch it. What's your motivation for doing this?
No, if you check, again, thank you for inviting me to this show. If you check my record and what we have been doing, you will discover clearly that I'm not such kind of young Nigerians who want to go into this race because of political appointment or popularity. I have been prosperous. I have been impacting Nigerians in my own way. I own various businesses across Africa, and I believe that Nigeria at this point need a passionate leader to bring Nigeria out of where we are, the problems that we are faced with, into prosperity. That I've demonstrated personally with my NGOs all over Africa, and it's high time we begin again to look at having the economy of Nigeria handed over to young, prosperous leaders. If you may know that those who had led Nigeria into prosperity in time past did so when they were young. Those who fought for independence of Nigeria did so when they were young. The likes of Anthony Nauro, Chief MK Abiola, MK Chief Awolowo, and the rest of them were young, were vibrant, and one thing they never had those enormous experience, but they had passion to rescue the nation. That is my motivation, and that's what we are bringing. And again, if you look at this election, we just have one youth in the race, and I'm the only youth in the 2023 election. By your dictionary, you cease to become a youth when you are above 45 years. I'm the youngest. I'm 39, and I'm the youngest. I'm the only youth in the race. So your assertion to say that young persons are picking, no young persons have, no youth rather.
I said we have young people running. Some of them went ahead to clinch their party ticket like you did, but some did not. So they dropped off. That's what I said earlier. But Let me talk about you being a youth, because it does seem like that's one area where you're capitalizing on, being a youth. What's your popularity among the youth constituency, and what level of support have you gotten from that constituency?
No, yeah. For me, even before thinking about politics, I'm already popular in the humanitarian space in Nigeria. I am the founder of Unique Foundation, one of the largest NGO in Nigeria that has over 6 million population. And we've been doing our grassroots work, supporting homes, supporting families, widows, and Nigerians. I also own an educational outfit that has given over 500,000 Nigeria educational scholarship. Of recent, I also opened one of our university portal, and I asked Nigerians who are at home because of the ASU strike to go online and study for free, about $6,000 scholarship given to them. I'm quite popular among the youth, of course. And again, because I'm also fresh in the political scene, I cannot attain the political popularity as others who had been in the scene for the last 30 years. But our aim is quite simple, is to get 20 million votes, and we are targeting to ensure that we have that vote across all polling units.
Now, watching Political Standpoint, we continue our conversation with Professor Chris Imumolen, who is the presidential candidate of the Accord Party. He's still with us in the studio. Just before that break, we were talking about your popularity among youth constituency. And I'm just going to ask, because if you're not that popular, because when we hear the conversation today among young persons, I am not sure what percentage of those young persons really talk about you as a presidential candidate and how many of them know you. And I know you have already spoken to that already when you said you've not been in the political space for a long time. But if you cannot win votes from your constituency as a young person, where do you think the majority of your votes will come from?
You know, it is quite a reality that fresh players like us, when I mean fresh players, those who are not affiliated to any political set, who possibly have the solution to solving Nigerian problem, might not, it's reality, might not have the same political popularity as candidates who have been vice presidents, who have been governors, who have been ministers, who have been in the political setting. And if you may recall, Nigeria have been calling for a fresh face. Nigeria have been calling for a newer face to come into the political scene and rescue Nigeria. The old ones have tried their best, but maybe their best is not enough, and there's a need for a newer person. So saying that, you know clearly that judging our popularity with those who have been in the political scene for 35 years may just not be too good because we've not been there as long as they have been. But again, we have been doing a lot of work, and we have been engaging outside politics. Now we're in politics, we also continue engaging. We have 6 months to election. We know what to do. What we are doing is this. We understand that the election for 2023 will be won by strategy, not just popularity.
And you think you have that strategy?
Yes,
to win this election.
We have.
You're running on the platform of Accord.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Accord as a party, their popularity and their structure. I'm not sure how many lawmakers you have at the national and local level. I'm not sure if you've ever won a state, but you seem to be so sure that you have the winning strategy.
Okay, look at what is happening all over the world. In Grenada, we have a 42-year-old president who never had a sitting senator, who never had, and he won, not just because of popularity, but for strategy. It's recently, in Kenya, we have Ruto, who also won against a side that had the presidential support. Never had. So we understand that clearly.
Let's not forget that Ruto was a deputy president before he won. So he had popularity, even though he had popularity. Yeah. He had the supporters, he had the crowd. I'm not sure I can say that you have that at the moment. So what is the winning strategy that you have?
We have 176,000 polling units. Winning election is getting votes. I just told you who I am, where I'm from. I do a little research about me. I don't think there's any Nigerian. There might be, because Nigerians are good people. So many of us who might be doing great things quietly. I'm one of those persons who had tilled into the grassroots, the 776 local government in Nigeria, have scholarship center all across the state of Nigeria, have been so engaged in humanitarian work. Yet you might not know, because we've been doing this basically because of passion we have for humanity. And that is the same structure we have been converting to merge with the Accord Party structure. You might say Accord Party does not have structure. You know, in Nigeria, we have so many political parties. But the two political parties that Nigerians focus on is so because they are political parties that have more of the people sitting in various positions, and they have funds to maintain the noise, to maintain the structure. But again, Accord Party as a party is a strong party, it's an old party, also had people like Ladoja in Oyo State. Even in Lagos, we've had seats in other states, though might not be as other parties like the two other parties. But if Nigeria continue to want to vote across that line of popularity, then we might not be able to solve the current problem we have. I always say this: we have 18 candidates for the for the presidential seat. We are applying for a job. Nigeria is our employer. I also believe that one of the things Nigeria should do, but although it might be a little bit difficult, is to also vet the 18 candidates. We shouldn't just stop at those who have been in the political scene for years, because the best manager that possibly could manage this country might just be among the 14 that Nigeria is not looking at. It's not just an issue about Accord. It's an issue about every other candidate who is not in the two major parties or the two other affiliated parties that came out from the two major parties. I don't want to start mentioning names here. So this challenge is not just about Accord. It's about every other 14 parties that are running. But again, we believe so much that if that is an issue, we are trying our best to always come out there to, use the social media, to use the TV station. I'm here now talking to Nigerians, to engage Nigeria. There is no day. Yesterday I was with former President Olusegun Obasanjo. We had huge discussion about how Nigeria should go forward, where Nigeria ought to be, where Nigeria is. And one of the things I said was the labor of our heroes should not be in vain.
So, Professor Chris, I don't think that your accomplishments or achievements are in doubt, and I can reel them out. I know that you have 2 PhDs and 3 master's degrees. I know that you are the, if not the only Nigerian, but at least one of the first ones to be inducted into the World Book of Greatness.
Yeah.
You're also a member of the World Presidential Civility Club.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have a lot of accomplishments, that's no doubt. But what Nigerians want, we have a lot of myriads of problems in the country today. Nigerians are wondering how that translates into the skills to fix this problem. And I want to start with the biggest issue that we have, or one of the biggest issues we have today, and that's security. We're faced with a security situation that has just refused to go away. We've lost a lot of lives to this challenge. We've seen a lot of people being displaced in the Northeast and Northwest even now. What is your strategy? Because if you become the president in 2022, this is what you are going to inherit, this challenge. How do you plan to fix it?
Number one, I had, as a professor and a business person, a humanitarian, a passionate leader, I have done a holistic study about the security challenge. I had personally,
what's your finding?
Yeah. I have personally visited a lot of places. You know, I received first-hand information because of the structure that I have all over Nigeria. I know the problem. One of the major problems we have, numerous problems. Yes, numerous problems. And one of the major challenges is economic hardship. Yes, a nation that has over 40% of its population above unemployed, underemployed, is bound to face serious security challenge. You know, of recent, maybe 2 months ago, the presidential convoy was attacked by some bandits in Castina. And I asked the question, Castina is a state of about 4.4 million, about 4 million. No industry, no major facility to engage the youth. No, economic hardship is one of the major challenges, and we have strategies and we have plans to getting that solved. But beyond that, look at, we are in a country where our political structure have been jeopardized. Our political structure have been sold out. You know, it's a big problem. So there must be a serious overhauling of our political architecture.
What does the political architecture have to do? How do you link that to the security problem?
Number one, insecurity, you must take care of. You must have a good system. One, you must take care of the security personnel. One, you must have a good system for the security itself. One, have you seen our police forces? Have you seen the way their welfare? You know, when we have security details that follows us, and we are careful about their welfare. Our security personnel in Nigeria are zero when it comes to welfare. And when that happens in security, I also train security management. When you do not take care of your security personnel, they naturally could work for the very criminal they are employed to protect you against. So it's very key that we must begin to look at that. A nation that fights security, basically with human intelligence, is also bound to have challenge. We need to invest hugely ICT and technology in the fight against insecurity. We have just 2 digital satellites. Most of our satellites are not functioning. We have one that have expired. You know, how do we monitor to capture, to capture events, to capture information before crime happens? For crime to happen, 2 things must happen. One is the desire to commit crime. Another is the opportunity for crime to happen. When desire to commit crime meets opportunity for crime to happen, naturally crime comes to be. As a nation, we need to start fighting about that opportunity. We can't do anything about a man who desires to commit crime. How then do we curb the opportunity? Investing hugely in ICT, overhauling the security infrastructure. 2, look at our borderline. Nigeria have about 14,000 bordered unguided. We only guide about 84 of our borderline. A nation that porous is bound to have serious security challenges. From our west, we are bordered by Benin Republic. By the south, we are bordered by the Gulf of Guinea. You can look at it, Niger and Chad up there. Our borderline are so porous.
But let me ask you, sorry to just jump in. I know you're making a very salient point about our borders. But there has been this argument about, and 2 of them, and I want to get your opinion on them. One of them is whether Nigerians should own guns to protect themselves, and that's one of the arguments. We've seen in the past where the governor of Zamfara says that, look, you can own guns, protect yourselves. And there were people who said that that was a risk for Nigerians to do that. What side do you belong? Do you think that at this point we should be protecting ourselves? And then there's also the argument about, and that's from Erufai, Governor Erufai of Kaduna State, who said, go to the forest and bomb these bandits. Because again, you realize that this is beyond, and I understand that you spoke to the non-kinetic approach earlier, but this is beyond just economy. Even if you give some people jobs today, they prefer to stay, being bandits. How do you think that we should go to the forest and just bomb it? What's your approach to dealing with these bandits?
Yeah, you must understand, during Jonathan, the previous administration, sorry for mentioning name, I was also part of those consultants, or the consulting, to seeing how we could curb the challenge that we had with militants. You just need to know what happened. There are some things that we did. When you talk about economic hardship would not reduce, I wouldn't agree that. Economic hardship will
I didn't say it will reduce. I said some people will still not give up arms.
Yes,
irrespective of what
for
you do
political reasons,
yes.
Religious reasons, ethnic reasons. Yeah, of course, I agree with you on that. But economic hardship still remains one of the mother that is giving birth to insecurity. We must begin to look at that. So, and again, like what you said, having citizens to own gun, we don't have the capacity to control that as a nation. Government need to stand up. Any government officials or government person that actually recommend that is doing that because of the kind of governmental system we run in Nigeria, where leaders fail and they push responsibility to citizens. It's still the fundamental responsibility of government to protect lives and property. Government must sit up to its responsibility to protect our people. Nigeria must be protected. We cannot allow Nigerians at this point to own. It is going to fuel this. It's going to fuel this situation. What we must do is to start fixing immediately our security problem. We have about 350,000 police forces. Of course, that might be enough, but how well trained are they? When was the last time our police force have been trained? What is the training capacity for them? You see, we need a serious behavioral pattern change, even for Nigerian police. And that can be achieved by deliberate effort to solve it. Even in Nigerian security, corruption has been impregnated into the security infrastructure. We must be deliberate about...
What do you mean corruption has been, you said impregnated into the system?
Yes, into the Nigerian security system.
In what sense?
Oh, Nigeria budget so much. Have you seen the budget, Nigeria budget on security? Then you ask yourself, what is the impact of the fund that is going through the line to the national peace? You understand that there's a lot of... We've seen cases where a lot of things happening. When was even the police van? When was the last time it was fueled? You see, police are even told to fuel their van by themselves. Why? Because it's assumed that, you take money out there. So corruption is in the system. So we have details that even buy uniform. Police officer buy uniform by themselves in Nigeria police system. This is just the little out of so much. No serious country would run its security in that manner. If we want Nigeria to be safe, first, we must ensure that our security, agency of security are taken care of. Those that work at security are taken care of the system. But for me, I believe that we need to overhaul that system. We need to recall everyone in that system so that they need to be checked. In 2009, when the American tour were bombed, immediately a policy was established called Homeland Security, where everybody was a suspect, every home. It's a policy. What policy is Nigeria developing for this fresh security threat we're having? When I say fresh, it's not fresh, it's been there, but we've been tackling it the medieval, the archaic way we have been, even before the threat came on board. We must begin to engage international best practices. We must begin to ensure that we drain out corruption from our security system. We must begin to ensure that Nigerians by themselves are motivated to report crime. It's very important because security, it's
and I was going
collective.
To ask you, I was going to ask you about that because one of the biggest challenges we understand we have is that community relations with the police force and security personnel, where people are not willing to give up information just for the fear of their lives. What do you think can be put in place to ensure that there is intelligence coming from citizens, first-hand intelligence coming from citizens to security personnel? What do you think can be done?
Trust. We must begin to rebuild that trust.
And how do you rebuild trust?
We must begin to rebuild the trust between the security. And we have, in Nigeria, we have a community relationship between policing and the community. that trust needs to be rebuilt. And that can only happen, like I said, one of my major responsibility immediately I assume office when I become the president is to immediately see how we can digitalize the economy. Yes, digitalizing the economy by itself is one way to reduce corruption. You know, we live in a country that corruption has eaten deep into our system. You know, so it's so difficult to separate the system from corruption itself. And if you do that in a hurry, you might end up killing the system and killing the corruption.
Let me link that back to building trust, because I don't want to lose that line of thought.
Yeah, I'm going there. So once we are able to digitalize the system and reporting, intelligence can be gotten through a digital platform, not by human. You know, why is it? Let us look at it. Why is it that the community do not want to relate with the policing? Because of victimization. There was a particular day I saw an accident scene, and we saw people driving past it. I had to reverse back and I asked why. We have to help these persons, and a lot of persons are afraid to do so. But I took upon myself to help. Immediately police got there. You know, if I was not who I was, or I didn't know what I knew, I would have been roped into that matter. So a lot of Nigerians are afraid. That is trust itself. So once we build a system on how intelligence is being reported, we don't have. Even our 911, is it working? How far is Nigerians oriented? Do they have the orientation to know how to report how to report intelligence before crimes happen? We need a whole lot to be done in terms of information, in terms of building back trust, in terms of community engagement with every community. It's a whole lot of work. And that's
it is.